In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and pink beetles. Love City Media presents Tigers Live with Francis Carlotta. Join Francis after every Memphis Tiger game as he breaks down each matchup, player of the game, and upcoming games. Now, let's get to the show. What up, Tiger Nation? My name is Kenny Stubblefield. I am here post the Tigers taking on the UTSA Roadrunners, where they got the victory 96-69 at home at the FedEx Forum. It is a very brisk, very chilly night here in Memphis. So everybody that's headed home from the FedEx Forum that's out right now, stay safe, get home, get warm. It is cold, but shout out to everybody who is here. Thank you for joining us. Francis has the night off right now as this game just ended. The Chicago Bears are facing off against the Los Angeles Rams. And listen, Francis Carlotta is he is a lot of things. He has a lot of teams that he enjoys watching. One of them happens to be the Chicago Bears, and that's who he's watching right now. I said, man, you know what? Listen, you've been grinding really hard over these last few months. We got a lot. You've done all the games. You've traveled in town to do the games. Take this night off and watch your favorite Chicago Bears as they take on the Los Angeles Rams. I don't have a score update because I was busy watching the Tigers game, but Tigers get the dub tonight, 96-69 against UTSA. I think it's safe to say UTSA is a really not, they're just a bad team. They're young. They don't have a lot of talent on that roster. They have been getting smacked. They are now 4 and I don't know if this is updated or not. 4 and they're 4-14 on the year, 0-5 in the American. Just not a good team at all. And they came into town and got smacked by the Tigers tonight. Kind of a weird first half. Things kind of righted itself in the second half, and Tigers pulled away. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. I do want to say thank you for everybody who's here, everybody who's joined the show. It's just me tonight. Roman will be joining in 1 second, but it's just me tonight. So this show is going to be heavily contingent on what this comment section says. I'll go off of what you guys say. I've got some notes that I have that I want to talk about just a little bit. We won't be long, but if you guys have some thoughts, put them in the chat and I will absolutely talk about it. Did we score 95? Did I put it wrong? Listen, it's very cold in my office and I probably fat fingered it. So thank you. I'll change that, Eric. I appreciate it. 95-69. So, we do have Roman in live from the FedEx Forum. Let me bring Roman in. Roman, what's up, man?
Not much. It's a very cold but very relaxed Sunday. Lots of other stuff going on in the sports world,
Yep.
obviously. But Memphis does put on quite a remarkable performance, I'd say, in the second half. Things look a little bumpy in the first half, obviously, but quickly taking control the way that I think almost everybody expect them to in this game after halftime. Fantastic performances from Doug and Sincere, especially there, leading the way and helping Memphis now claim sole possession of second place in the American.
Yep.
It was all knotted up at like a five-way tie for first place in the league after Wednesday's game against Temple, and we're like, oh, how's this gonna sort itself out? And it has quickly done that. FAU now sitting at the top of the league in first place, obviously, but Memphis right there in second, now at 4-1 in the league.
Yeah, FAU has the tiebreaker with Memphis. Obviously, they beat Memphis a couple of games ago. FAU is a better team than I think we gave them credit for. They play hard, they play well. They're running through this American Conference pretty easily right now. But yeah, the game got off to a weird start. It was just a weird, like even as somebody who was over here in Collierville watching the game, it felt a little bit strange tonight, just kind of trying to find your footing. Do you put some of that up to the fact that the Tigers were playing against a really bad team and just trying to figure out how to score against them, like find kind of a rhythm and a flow, or was it just two teams that just were trying to find, like, what do you make of that first half?
I mean, it's probably a combination of Memphis playing down to competition and not exactly being the best team themselves there. I mean, at the end of the day, this UTSA team was the worst offense in the American heading into this game, and the second worst defense in the league. They actually had the country's worst field goal percentage of any team. Of all 365 Division I teams, UTSA was at the bottom of field goal shooting percentage at like 37.5% or something like that. It was quite remarkable to look over that in preparation for this one. Realistically, Memphis shouldn't have had much trouble finding rhythm in this game, but nonetheless, they did. But they, obviously figured things out after halftime, and they won the game. And like we're going to say after every single American Conference game, especially after the ones that Memphis wins, the victory is all that matters. But it is somewhat encouraging that they were eventually able to get to where they probably needed to be in this one.
Yeah, it was UTSA is a historically bad team this year. Like they are not very good. They have, I think, in pretty much every single conference game that they've played this year, they have been
bad,
beat by 30 to 40 points almost every single game.
Yeah, they've only beaten two D1 teams all year.
Yeah, I mean they are tough, man. It is I was saying in the Discord that we have, which you can join too. Go to twitter.com and type in Bluff City Media. It's in our link. It's in our bio. The link is in our bio. You can join that Discord. I was saying during the Discord during the game, I was like, I have never seen a coaching staff with UTSA, a coaching staff that every single head coach coaches, or every single coach, assistant coach, everybody on that team that wasn't uniform was coaching every single movement by every single player out there on the court. It was so weird to see the level of not just engagement, but just every move was being called out. Like you have to wonder, like, what has practice been like for those guys in terms of they just must be really, really bad.
I mean, is that coaching or babysitting?
It felt really, really weird.
Yeah.
But Penny Hardaway obviously probably was not very pleased with the first half.
No,
only up by 10 points at the half. It felt like there was moments where they would try to go on a run, and then they would UTSA would hit a 3-pointer, turn the ball over, or Memphis would turn the ball over, and they would bring it back. Going into after that first half, what were your thoughts? Were you just like, what is actually happening right now?
I mean, you're not just wondering what's happening with the game. You're apparently wondering what's happening with the broadcast. I mean, obviously, I was here at the forum, so I didn't hear it, but apparently there was Maroon 5 going on the ESPNU broadcast, and Michael Bublé as well. It sounds like ESPN could potentially have some sort of a copyright lawsuit on its hands, or something like that. So you're wondering what's going on in all sorts of other all sorts of other areas beyond the game. But honestly, after the first half, I was expecting another 5-point victory train wreck type of performance for Memphis. I was expecting to come into this post-game show with a much different tone and a much different theme of what we're going to talk about, yet another discouraging performance. And that first half was still very much that. You just do not want to allow a UTSA team that has shot as poorly as it has all year to shoot as well as it did in the first half. They started 4 of 10 from 3 as well. Memphis turned the ball over 8 times. I mean, the fact that Memphis was as competitive with UTSA as they were in the first half, despite shooting 60% in the period, it just wasn't very encouraging there at all. But obviously, Memphis turned things around in the second half, and the formula was very simple. They defended the three-point line significantly better than they did in the first half. They rebounded the ball much better than they did in the first half, and they shot the lights out of the ball from beyond the arc, 7-14 from 3 after halftime.
Yeah, no, they absolutely, got right at halftime and came back out and did what they were supposed to do. Do you? I was going to ask you. God, I had a question I was going to ask you. Yeah, I did not mind actually. The Maroon 5 thing was weird. I have all these tabs open during the game, Roman, as I'm watching it. I'm watching it on this computer, and I had tabs open, and I'm looking for, like, how the tab works in Chrome, where if there's sound coming from it, it's got the little like indicator flashing saying sound is coming from this. And I was like,
and you're wondering, like, do you have like Apple Music on or something?
Yeah, like I went to look the Spotify, is Apple Music going? There was only one tab on my computer that had sound, and it was the Memphis game. And so I muted it, and I was like, they got Maroon 5 and Michael Bublé playing crossed wires somehow during the middle of this game. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was kind of fun. I liked it. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, so it was a good vibe, because I was looking on social media. Most people hated it. So it's interesting that you have a different viewpoint there. I was sure, because I was looking for like videos of it. Like, I was thinking, okay, surely someone has like recorded this and posted this, but apparently nobody did. Maybe they were scared of.
You can't. ESPN won't allow you to. Apparently, I don't know.
I guess I was at least expecting someone to like take their phone and do it or something, because I was interested to see what that apparently sounded like. But
I mean, it sounded. The music,
I guess I'll just have to settle
good.
for the word of mouth there.
Yeah, the music sounded good. I mean, they had it mixed properly. It wasn't overwhelming the broadcast. Like, Mark Adams was still talking his crap that he does. Like, it was super interesting. It was hilarious. But yeah, obviously in the first half, the guys came out, and I think it just reaffirms all over again. This team is going to be successful based off of the defense, based off of what they do defensively each game, being locked in defensively, guarding the 3-point line like you talked about. The offense for this team is just going to have to come in spurts and in waves and off actions, right? Like off actions that they run. Like, there's just nobody really on this team, on this Memphis Tigers team, that can just single-handedly shoot the Tigers back into a game or push the lead out in a game. Like, there's just doesn't seem to be that kind of an offensive team. Everything really has to come through either fast break or through actions that they run. And that happens when they play good defense. And so to me, it was like this team is just not a good offensive team. And so defensively, they're going to have to be like really, really like way up there in the American to be able to compete against these American teams.
Yeah, but the good news is that in the American, at least, Memphis has the length and the athleticism and the talent to be right up there as one of the best, if not the best, defensive teams in the league. Just few other teams besides Memphis, obviously Florida Atlantic is one of them, but few other teams just have, again, the size, the length, the athleticism to really, compete with Memphis defensively. And Memphis still has solid enough scorers like Doug, like Sincere, to at least be competent offensively in most of these games. If you can just get Doug and Sincere playing well together, like you did tonight, I think it does go to show that this Memphis offense still has that second year if you can get those two guys, in sync, making shots together, because those are the two, best scorers on the team. It's pretty hard to say anyone besides those two, for that category specifically there. So it's not surprising that the offense flourished perhaps more than it has all year long when those two were in sync there.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug and Sincere obviously had a great game. So tell me, you were there prior to the game starting. People are really wanting to know. Aaron Bradshaw obviously didn't play tonight.
Mm-hmm,
Julius Stepford didn't play tonight. Did you see them before the game? What did it look like out there? I know they were out, and I think Penny might have said on the TV or on the radio before that it looks like Julius might be back before Aaron Bradshaw. Do you have any update on those two guys in particular?
Well, Aaron Bradshaw did not obviously play in this game, but he was around during the pregame warm-up. He didn't participate in it, obviously, but he was there. He was moving around. He seemed to be in good spirits, helping out, getting rebounds for his teammates and passing the ball around and, simple things like that. He didn't really seem to be hindered or walking with a limp or anything, which I think is a sign that he's probably closer to return than what we might have expected after what we saw.
It looked nasty. It looked nasty.
After what we saw on Wednesday, right? I mean, Penny said that Julius might be closer, but he also said that he's hoping to have both.
Oh, yeah.
Tulsa.
Okay.
So I think it is possible that both could come back at around the same time. Thedford wasn't out there during the warm-ups, but he was on the bench during the game. But Penny sounds pretty optimistic that both of them should be back before too long.
That'll be huge for this Tigers team to get Julius and Aaron back. Obviously, Tierno Silva was out there tonight for the first time in a while.
Yeah, for the first time since the Alabama State game, actually.
Yeah. Do you have any update? Like, I know it's been said personal reasons. I know there was an injury at one point. There was personal reasons.
Yeah, first he was out with a shoulder injury, and then it was like, okay, now he's out with personal reasons.
Okay.
So beyond that, there's not much of an update there. He's back now. He's been out with personal reasons before. We've covered this extensively, but Tierno Silva was, one of the many guys on this team that has had, issues and character concerns and things like that in the past. His previous schools, he's had those kind of, problems come along the way throughout his college career. So it's, I guess it's not exactly shocking to see him, have these kind of inconsistencies. Again, not exactly sure what's going on there in terms of the personal reasons, but he's back right now. So
yeah,
we'll see, I guess.
USA Health Insurance Reform wants to know, do you think Mason Matthews will get a bucket for Memphis this season? Yes or no?
Probably not, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I can see Mason Matthews getting a bucket. Absolutely.
I mean, this game was probably one of his best chances, and it didn't happen. I mean, even in a blowout, I don't think that the reserves, like the real reserves, like the Europa Ropes and Mason Matthews of the world, will get too much of an opportunity that's longer than like a minute or two in most cases, because first off, because this team just isn't in blowout win situations that often, and secondly, right, I just don't know how much Penny trusts this year's team to be able to hold on to big leads like that, for an extended period of time, because we've seen them kind of, have miscues before with advantages. So,
start of the game, we went to the start of the game, or the pregame before, with Aaron and Julius being out there, kind of get an update on them. To start the game, Penny started off pretty small this game. He had I think the 12th or 13th different starting lineup.
Yeah, it was the 13th in 17 games. It was the same one from Wednesday against Temple, except Wharton replaced Bradshaw.
Yeah. Willie Morton got minutes. The one guy that did not get any minutes tonight was Tariq Ingram, did not play at all. Yeah. Tierno played for 6 minutes.
And it's interesting that Ingram was out, because when Penny was asked, how are you going to fill the void without Bradshaw, he said he was specifically confident in William Wharton, Tariq Ingram, and Simon Majok to fill the void and to get the job done. But Ingram did not play tonight there.
Yeah, you had
Penny has pulled in, so I need to get out of here.
All right, sounds good, brother. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
And of course, thank you.
We'll see you.
See y'all Wednesday for the Mugshots.
Yep, absolutely.
Party.
All right, we're back. Shout out to Roman Cleary for being at the FedEx Forum, doing his thing over there. You'll see the press conference videos coming out as soon as Roman can get them over to me. I'll get them out on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody who's in the comment section, all y'all who are here. Thank you for joining. It is just me tonight. Francis is off watching the Chicago Bears play. Gave him a night off so he could enjoy watching for the first time in his lifetime, I think, the Chicago Bears play in a meaningful game. So shout out to them, and shout out to Francis, Carlotta. Everybody will be back on Wednesday. Francis will be back. Roman will be there. I'll be there. We're going to be at Roman and I will both be at Mugshots Bar and Grill, or Grill and Bar, out in Collierville. I'll show you here's the watch party ad. We're doing a watch party for the Memphis-Tulsa game this Wednesday night at 7 p.m. at Mugshots Grill and Bar. Going to be a ton of fun. Y'all come out. This is a big one. This is a really important one. Roman talked about it, that things are kind of clearing up a little bit in terms of the top of the American Conference. Memphis now sits in second place at 4-1. FAU is in first place at 5-1. They've just played one more game than Memphis, but there's a backlog behind it, right? Tulsa's a part of that. Tulane's a part of that. South Florida's a part of that. Wichita State's a part of that. There's just a bunch of people at the top, a bunch of matchups at the top of the American Conference that are really, really important. And this Wednesday night is one of them. Memphis versus Tulsa in Tulsa. Y'all remember Memphis going to Tulsa and losing by 40 a couple years ago. Tulsa is right now the favorite to win, or the favorite to be the playoff, not the playoff, but the NCAA tournament representative for the American Conference. So it's a big game. Come hang out with us at Mugshots on Wednesday night at 7. If you've been to one of these, you know that there's TVs everywhere, but this time the specific thing they're adding a big projector screen. So right in the back window where we usually sit to do our show, there's going to be a big projector screen so everybody can watch and enjoy. It's going to be a lot of fun. So y'all should absolutely come out to that. Come see me and Roman. We'll be out there. Yeah, that was a rough one. Thank you, Lost Found Decor. Losing by 41 year, and then the next year losing Caleb Mills. That was tough. Cool. Hey, let's take a break real quick. We'll get everything situated. When we come back, we'll talk more about this game. Shout out to actually, you know what? I didn't put the commercial in here. Let me add this commercial. Sorry, guys. This is a little bit me having to produce and talk at the same time is making it kind of tough. So I'm going to add the commercial. We'll take a break in a second. But yeah, Memphis wins 95-69 against UTSA tonight. UTSA is just not a good team. Memphis absolutely played with their food in the first half, and then just really beat the brakes off of them in the second half. 52 points in the second half. They outscored them 52-36 in the second half. Going into to the second half up by 10 points. So they obviously just really put a beat down on UTSA in this game. Run through some of the box score with you real quick. Starting five was William Morton, Hassan Abdul Hakim, Doug McDaniel, Quante Berry, and Curtis Givens III. William only played 13 minutes, had 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assists, 1 block. Hassan played 21 minutes, 11 points. Doug McDaniel, 30 minutes and 18 points. Quante Berry, 23 minutes, 8 points. Curtis Givens III, 30 minutes and 14 points. Then off the bench, Ashton Hardaway, Sincere Parker, and Zach Davis led the way with 22 minutes, 21 minutes, and 20 minutes, respectively. Sincere led the way off the bench, 22 points, 1 of 2 from the three-point line, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, and some pretty fantastic moves in the second half at the basket. He is one of the most. He is a guy that has sneaky athleticism. So shout out to Sincere. We've said this for the last couple of weeks. I just think Sincere is the guy that you need to be your main scoring threat. And whether it's off the bench or in the starting lineup, it's clear that it's going to be the off the bench at this point. He just needs to be a guy that is a force to be reckoned with on the offensive side of the ball. This Tigers team struggles in the offense. Like, they struggle more so than really, I think, any Penny Hardaway team we've seen in a minute. Just struggles to be able to, like, really impose their will on teams. You saw that in the first half tonight, where they just kind of played with them a little bit and turned the ball over a little bit too much. And it felt like, to me, Penny made some adjustments in the second half to force action that they needed to run. And so this team is going to be successful offensively when they're all working together and running really good actions for each other. They're not a team that can just one-on-one break people down, ISO the ball and get shots up. They're just not a team that makes shots like that. They have to be in rhythm of an offense. And so they did a good job of that in the second half. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll do player of the game. I'll share a couple more thoughts. If you have any thoughts in the comment section, I am trying to keep it up with the comment section as best as possible. I'm having to talk to you guys and do that and produce the show. So bear with me. Tonight is one of those nights. So, but we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more Tigers versus UTSA. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem.
But in answer to your question, the weed that I took from that source, familiar with Ja Morant's thinking, was that we included both the team and Ja collectively. I really do feel like some of this is silly for multiple reasons from an optics perspective. Obviously, there is a discord between powers that be on the Grizzly side and the Morant side, and we can't ignore that. I think there needs to be some level of a reconciliation and a conversation with the front office. I think Ja's still young and doesn't realize the grass is not always green on the other side because he's only played with one professional NBA team. And what you're going to find is that when you go to other teams, there's a lot of things that teams are not going to put up with, whether that is hypothetically the Miami Heat, whether that is the Milwaukee Bucks, whether that is the Toronto Raptors, and he has it good where he is.
Tune in to the Anthony Sainz Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. All right, welcome back to the back half of Tigers Live. The Memphis Tigers defeated the UTSA Roadrunners 95-69 tonight. Just an absolute second half beatdown by Memphis. They really put it to UTSA in this game, in the second half especially. So shout out to everybody who's in the comment section. Really appreciate everybody who's here. Everybody who's watching. I know there's a lot of sports stuff happened today. The Memphis Grizzlies are flying back home from London right now after getting a big time win against the Orlando Magic in Ja Morant's return game. A lot of fun to see Ja Morant play today over in London. Really good to see him back out there. We'll have more thoughts. Everything we'll all of our daily shows that start back tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. with the Daily Grind, 11 o'clock with Two Bucks, and 1 o'clock with Anthony Sane show. We'll all be talking about this Ja Morant Grizzlies game, so I'll leave that alone here. But starting tomorrow, everything will be back to normal with our live shows. Y'all come check it out. Come hang out with us. If you're in this comment, if you're here and you haven't been in here before, you don't know much about Bluff City Media, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bells. It literally costs you nothing. And it really, really absolutely helps us out in terms of the algorithm, in terms of just getting our content out to the masses. So shout out to everybody who is a long-term follower. I see a bunch of you in here. Lost Found Decor, USA Health Insurance Reform. I've been seeing this person for years following our stuff. So I really, really appreciate it. Eric G415 asked the question, I think our best starting lineup is Doug, Sincere, Zach, Hakeem, and Aaron Bradshaw. My thoughts. I wrote down, as I was reading this question, I wrote down three names. And the three names that really only matter the most to me in terms of starting. I really like the wrinkle that Penny has made in the last couple of games of putting Doug and Curtis on the floor at the same time. It gives me a lot of flashbacks to last year's PJ Haggerty, Tyrese Hunter type of situation where two really good ball handlers, two guys who are point guards at heart, play together alongside of each other and are able to kind of be the two-headed monster that they can be for this Tigers team. I think at the beginning of the year, my thought process on Curtis not starting was that you needed a guy who could handle the ball in the second rotation, second unit. With the way that Penny is coaching these guys and the way that Penny is bringing these dudes out onto the floor, it doesn't feel like there really is a quote unquote second rotation other than maybe a few positions. It feels like these guys are just kind of all playing together. And so for me, it's really important to have, I think, your best ball handlers, the guys who can get the offense flowing, your best scorers as quickly as possible out there. Because this team struggles offensively when they don't have their full complement out there. It is really tough for them to get to like really put their foot on the necks of teams. I'm a big fan of the lineup with Curtis and with Doug out there. Now, the guy that it seems to be a part of that backcourt is Quante Berry. They've added him to the starting lineup at the 3 position. Quante is a guy that I think everybody knows. When Memphis got Quante in the transfer portal this offseason, I really, really liked that move a lot. I really, really enjoyed Quante's game when he was at Temple last year. We all know the jokes about Penny Hardaway and the handshake line kind of bringing together the American Conference Avengers, if you will, the best players that play against Memphis. You better get ready because Penny's going to come after you. Quante was the guy that I saw in the transfer portal or in the American Conference last year. That when I saw that he went into the transfer portal, I was like, I really hope Penny gets him because I like Quante's game. Quante adds a level of tenacity and defense that that is useful in the starting lineup. He's like your quintessential 3-and-D kind of guy, right? Like he shoots threes pretty well, plays hard defense. And that's what you need out of that position, I think, especially if Curtis and Doug are in the starting lineup and are handling the ball the majority of the time. Hassan Abdul Hakim has clearly kind of taken the role as the starting 4 for this team. Penny called him at the beginning of the season his do-it-all guy, the guy, his Draymond Green type of player, a 4 who's maybe a little undersized at that position, but is able to like do things that 4s normally in the American can't do, and that's shoot, dribble, kind of run an offense, if you will, be a playmaker at the 4 position. And then obviously I think very clearly Aaron Bradshaw has positioned himself as the guy to be the starting 5 for this team. I don't mind that lineup. I think that lineup is actually a pretty decent lineup. Obviously you want Aaron Bradshaw back, recovering from the injury that he suffered last in the previous game. And then having Zach Davis, Sincere Parker, Julius Tedford, William Morton, whoever else that you want to bring, Simon Majot, whoever else you want to bring off the bench. It's kind of a plug and play type of situation where what guy is going to be successful that day, right? Like, is Sincere going to have one of those games where he just goes off like he did tonight? If he's that guy, then you play him as many minutes as you can possibly play him. Julius is a guy that no matter where he plays, no matter how many minutes he plays, no matter what role he plays, when he gets in the game, you know he's going to be a tenacious basketball player. And then Zach Davis, I just don't trust Zach to be a guy that helps you. And I'm this is going to sound super negative, and I don't mean for it to, because I actually do think he works really well coming off the bench, but Zach is kind of a front runner. And I think that what I mean by that is you don't want him to be the guy to lead the charge to get a lead at the beginning of the game. You want him to be the guy to come on behind what the starting 5 has done, building a lead, playing well, getting into a rhythm, come behind that and kind of like push on that even more, like be a guy who carries the momentum forward. I don't want him to be a momentum starter. I want him to be a momentum carrier, if that makes sense. So I don't mind Zach being off the bench. I think he does really good things. And I think he's a guy that defensively he brings a pressure, a force that you need in the second rotation. I think Sincere is a guy that you bring off the bench who, if he's having a really good game, you play him as many minutes as you can. And if he's not, then you just spot minutes, bring him in and sit him back down. But I don't mind. The only thing that I didn't, obviously Aaron didn't play tonight, so he wasn't a part of that starting 5. I really like Aaron Bradshaw in that starting 5. I think he has really proved himself to be a serviceable big. He's done, like at the beginning of the year, I said this, and I think everybody on this show has said it. Aaron was virtually unplayable at the beginning of the year, and now he's become, I think, the most impactful big they have on the team. Lost Found Decor says, if you look back on the stretch where Curtis was hurt, we struggled. I really think he may be a key piece to making this work, and he got hurt at a really bad time. I agree with that, and I don't know if it's necessarily because Curtis was hurt. I think it's because your only other secondary playmaker, ball handler was hurt. There is nobody else on this team outside of Doug McDaniel that I trust to have the ball in their hands, playmaking for this team, getting running the offense outside of Curtis and Doug. Those are the only 2 guys that I see that I trust implicitly to do that. So when Curtis was out, obviously it was all on Doug. And you saw that even in the minutes, and those kind of minutes have carried over the last few games. Doug was playing 35 to 38 minutes a game, was getting very little rest because I think Penny understands I cannot have a lineup. I cannot have a rotation where I don't have a playmaker, a ball handler, a point guard at heart out there. And so I like so yes, I agree with you. They struggled, but it was mainly because they just don't have anybody else that I trust to handle the ball and to be a playmaker for this team. And so yeah, that's and again, that's why I like the Curtis and Doug playing together, because I think that it just adds a layer of bite to this team that they don't have if they don't have both of those two dudes playing at the same time. There's a level of bite offensively that they bring that that they don't have if they're not playing together. That's just my thought process. And this is a team that you've got to capitalize when you can. You've got to bite. You gotta have as big of a bite as you can possibly have, or you're going to lose the game. And so I like having Curtis and Doug out there together. Eric G415, I like Curtis, but sometimes he stops his dribble in bad spots. Yeah, that's called college basketball. College basketball is a rough watch for me sometimes. There is some really bad basketball that happens out there. And yeah, he does pick up his dribble at times where you're just like, why did you do that? Why'd you waste that dribble? I remember playing basketball my entire life and coaches just beating in my brain. Don't waste your dribble. Don't waste your dribble. If you have your dribble, or if you have your dribble in your repertoire, do not start your dribble unless you know exactly what it is that you want to do, or you're going to waste your dribble. And wasting your dribble is by far the worst thing you can do as a playmaker. Ramona Albright asks, why didn't Ingram play? I have no clue. Again, I have given up trying to decipher when players play and why they play and how they play. Maybe not how they play, but why and when. I don't know. Very clearly, even though Penny has said, I trust Tarek Ingram, very clearly, Penny decided to go small pretty much this entire game. The only big who got real meaningful minutes in this game was William Morton. You had Simon Majok had 8 minutes. Tierno Sola had 6 minutes. William Morton had 13 minutes. So it was very clear that Penny decided he did not have to stay big to win this game. USA Health Report says maybe because Ingram was a bum against FAU. Ingram's been a bum quite a bit this year. Bum's a tough word. He's been bad pretty much this entire year. There's not been many games where he's been really good. But I said it to say, I still think he adds the threat of the skill set that he has is better than what I think some of the other guys offer you. Like, as much as I think Simon Majok is a guy that I hope stays around and gets in the weight room and is able to learn some stuff from Penny and, from the assistant coaching staff, I don't trust Simon Majok extended minutes right now. I just don't. He does good things every once in a while, but man, he's just there's just not much about his game that I really am like super excited about right now. There's a lot about his game I'm super excited about next year. So I hope he's around next year. Yeah, I know that Ingram came from Rider University, but Rider is a bad D1 school. Someone asked the question a few minutes ago. UTSA is like a good D2 team, would you say? Listen, yes, they're very bad. They're not a D1 team. They were really, really rough tonight. Yeah, USA Health Report says if Simon Majok gets in weight room next year, he's going to be all AAC. Maybe. I mean, you get him in the weight room, you know, there's a certain body type that maybe I just think he needs to learn how to just move, right? Just move a little bit better. Gain some motion in the ocean, if that makes sense. Like just move a little bit better. Get a little more fluid in his movement. Right now it's herky jerky hectic. Right now it's the blow up doll, Gumby doll outside of a car lot. A lot of this. I would love to see Simon Majok just kind of learn how to play ball. Did I see Penny give Hayes and Nunez the magical handshake. I think Penny is not even thinking about that right now. I saw him give the handshakes, but I'd be very surprised if it's a magical handshake. I love the magical handshake. Yeah. Watch that handshake line with Penny Hardaway. He does his best recruiting in the handshake line after a American Conference game. Are y'all let me ask you this. Are y'all getting tired of it? Are y'all getting tired of the magical American Conference handshake line situation? Like, because that's what this is this year, right? Like, isn't this team a bunch of those dudes? Like, maybe not specifically American Conference guys, but isn't this roster full of dudes who are just kind of mediocre in the American Conference at best? Are we getting kind of tired? Like, would we rather see Penny going after better players? Yeah, it's just a real question. I don't know. I'm getting tired of Tigers leaving for P4. Yeah. It's the state of college sports as we know it. I think the stat was said. Mark Adams said it in the middle of the game. I think like 75% of the American Conference transferred last year. That is crazy. That is crazy. 75% of the American Conference basketball players transferred. Yeah. Penny realizes Tark doesn't know how to take advantage of his small but wide body. Is he a small dude? Like, how tall is he? I'll be honest with you, because I'm really trying hard this year to concentrate on Bluff City Media and Tigers Live and what we do. I haven't gone to any games this year. I went to the Arkansas exhibition game, and that was it. That's the only time I've seen this team in person. Is Tark really that small? I don't know. I mean, I know he's wide, but is he short? He doesn't look short, but is he short? I don't know. All right, real quick. Player of the game, Sincere Parker. 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. Just had a fantastic game today. Really, really, really enjoyed what I saw out of Sincere Parker. I thought he was aggressive. I thought he fought for his shots better than I've seen him in the past. Normally, he'll give up a good shot and thinking it's going to be a better play or a perfect play, when sometimes that perfect play is passing to a guy who has no business having the ball. I'd rather have Sincere take a good shot than this person take a perfect shot, if that makes sense. So Sincere, it felt like he was actively fighting for more shots tonight. Yeah, his stat line is stupid tonight. 21 minutes, 22 points, 8 for 12 from the field, 1 of 2 for the 3-point line, 5 of 7 for the free throw line. He had two turnovers. He had 0 assists. I'd like to see him get more assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals and 1 block. I haven't had a chance to look at the team stats, but I'm going to do that real quick because I think the team stats can kind of tell us a little bit of a better story at times too. Tigers only had 12 turnovers tonight. Shout out to them. That has been a massive part of their game. Leading the way in terms of turnovers, Ashton Hardaway had 4 turnovers tonight. That's not necessarily too surprising. William Morton in 13 minutes had 2 turnovers. Not a fan of that. Hassan had 2 turnovers in 21 minutes. Once again, Doug McDaniel, 30 minutes, tied for the lead in minutes tonight with Curtis Givens III, 18 points, 4 of 6 from the 3-point line, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and only 1 turnover. Shout out to Doug, because that feels like a massive, massive turn for him. Is Doug having the ball in his hands a lot is going to automatically lead to more turnovers. But the fact that he had 6 assists and only 1 turnover, 6-to-1 ratio, is almost unheard of in college basketball. That is a fantastic number for Doug. I thought he really, really managed the team pretty well tonight. All the while dropping in 18 points off 4 of 6 from the 3-point line. 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He has so many flaws to his game, But gosh, he's such a good player too. Like he just does so much for this Tigers team. All right. Some more team stats. Let's look at this. Yeah, I saw somebody say assists. They had 23 assists to 14 for the UTSA Roadrunners. They shot 36 of 64 and had 23 assists on 36 field goals made. That is awesome. That's a good number. They shot 56% from the floor tonight, 11 of 22 from the three-point line, so 50% there. Out rebounded UTSA 38-33. They shot the ball so well, it's kind of they didn't have to rebound too many offensive rebounds tonight. They had 12 offensive rebounds, 26 defensive rebounds, 12 steals, 6 blocks, only again 12 turnovers, which is a good number for this team. Outscored them 19-3 on the fast break, and outscored them 44-28 in the paint, which is that should be expected against a team like UTSA. But yeah, shout out to Sincere Parker, man. Really good game tonight. 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. Had some of the more. He had an alley-oop dunk from, was it Ashton? Did Ashton throw him the ball? Can't remember who it was. He had an alley-oop dunk, had a couple of up and under layups that were filthy and ones that were filthy. Shot the ball really, really well tonight. Sincere is the Bluff City Media player of the game against UTSA. All right. Any other thoughts before I get out of here? Man, I've been going 51 minutes. Jeez. Sorry, guys. Hey, but for real, y'all come check out. Y'all come hang out with us this Wednesday night. Mugshots Grill and Bar. We are going to be doing our 3rd edition of the watch party at Mugshots Grill and Bar out in Collierville. This is a big game. The UTSA game is not the Tigers just have to win every single game, but this is a big one for seeding within the American Conference. Right now, and we talked about this a few minutes ago, right now, let me look at it. Let me find it. Here it is, standings. Right now, FAU is in the lead in the American Conference for at a 5-1 record. They have also beat the University of Memphis in a rough game a couple of days ago. Memphis is in sole second place, 4-1, half game behind Florida Atlantic. The Charlotte 49ers, surprisingly, at 4-2, are 1 game back. South Florida's 3-2. Tulsa is at 3-2. Tulane's at 3-2. Temple's at 3-2. Wichita State's at 3-3. UAB is at 3-3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams are 2 games or less behind FAU in the American Conference standings. So these games against teams like Tulsa, these games are massive for what it's going to look like at the end of the year. Again, one of the things that we have said is nothing else matters. Like if the Tigers had come out tonight and only won by 1 game or 1 point against UTSA, if it counts as 1 whole point, 1 whole mark in the win column, that's all that matters, right? They are fighting, they're fighting for top 2 seed in the American Conference. So they can only play, they have a bye all the way to the semifinals of the American Conference tournament in Birmingham in March. That's what matters right now for this Tigers team. Nothing else matters. And so this Tulsa game is massive. This Tulsa game coming up Wednesday night at 7 p.m. matters because Tulsa's right there. Right? Like Tulsa's right there in that log jam at the 3rd spot. The Tigers are a half game above it. Tulsa is right behind it. And so this game really, really, really matters. So y'all should absolutely come hang out with us at Mugshots Grill and Bar out in Collierville, 656 West Poplar, Collierville, Tennessee. Great food, beer specials. There's going to be large screen TVs plus a big projector screen in the back room back there. Come hang out with us. We'll have everything set up. We're going to do a Tigers live show immediately afterwards. Roman Cleary will be there with me. I'll be there. Francis Carlotta will be piped in on the computer. You'll be able to hear him through the sound system. Going to be great. We'll have a good time for a game that really, really matters. So come hang out with us. Healing and Self-Love says, can they play like this against better teams? Listen, Mark Adams I'm not a fan of Mark Adams. I think he's a really bad color commentator. I think he is arrogant, and I think he has narratives that he has spoken about the Memphis Tigers that just drives me crazy for years. And it's words that he uses constantly, and it just drives me crazy. But he said something tonight that I thought was really interesting. It's not, he almost changed my entire mind on what the season has looked like for the Memphis Tigers. He walked through the entire wins and losses for the Tigers. And he broke it down because, like, all we see are losses, all we see are wins. I forget, right? Like, we see so much sports, we kind of sometimes forget that against Ole Miss, they were right there. Against Wake Forest, they should have won that game. Against Purdue, they should have won that game. Against Vanderbilt, they should have won that game. Really, the only like really bad just ass kicking this entire year has been that Louisville matchup. Losing to UNLV hurts. Losing to Mississippi State hurts. Losing to but this team has been right there with some really good teams this season. And so the question was, Healing of Self-Love asked, can they play like this against better teams? If you had asked me this at the beginning of the game, I would have said no. But as I started to think about it, after Mark Adams said what he said, my response is, yeah, I think they can. I think they can. Especially if Penny is targeting and figuring out the moves, the little minute, small things that he's doing with this roster, specifically Curtis and Doug playing together, is massive to me. I think that raises a tick of what this Tigers can look, the ceiling for this Tigers team. And so if the question is can they play like this against better teams? In the end, all that matters is they win. But I don't think that there are better, more talented teams in the American than the Memphis Tigers. The question is can they just do it? Because they could easily run through this entire schedule, the rest of the schedule, and be in first place and dominate the regular season and dominate the conference tournament. But they could also lose 4 or 5 games. That's very possible, this team. So, yes, I think they can, but they can also really crap the bed against good teams too. So, shout out to you, Healing of Self-Love. Appreciate that question. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anybody else have any more questions before I get out of here? Man, I really appreciate you guys. We've gone listen, I'm a talker. 57 minutes by myself. It's pretty wild. But shout out to everybody for joining. Check us out. If you are here, like and subscribe. Hit the button, subscribe. Once this live is done, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Let you know every time Bluff City Media is on board or is going live on our network. Doesn't cost you a thing. Takes you about literally half a second to do all 3 of those things because they're right next to each other. Do that. It so helps our algorithms, so helps us to kind of get more and more people, the doors opened up for Bluff City Media for more and more people to see the stuff that we do. But I really can't thank you enough for rocking with us the way that you guys do, rocking with our daily shows, the Daily Grind at 7:30, the 2 Bucks at 11, and Anthony Sain show at 11 or at 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. every Monday through Friday. Go check out. We had a really good interview with a guy named Scoop Robinson, Scoop B, on Anthony's show on Friday. And he's a kind of an independent journalist, basketball insider. He doesn't have ESPN's big budget behind him or Fox's big budget behind him, but he does it through relationships, and relationships matter. And he spoke specifically about this last week with Ja Morant and was inside Ja Morant's camp and shared with us a lot about some of the inner thoughts and inner thinking and why they're doing what they're doing with Ja Morant. So go check that out. Really, really good interview. All right. Appreciate you guys. Yeah. Go Tigers, go. Chicken Unicorn. Shout out. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 7:30 with the Daily Grind. Thank you for watching this episode of Tigers Live. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.